Buying new construction, here are my top don'ts when you're buying. First, don't go without an agent. You know I'm going to say this. So do you need an agent to buy a new construction home? You certainly don't. But is it beneficial? Yes. And if you want representation when buying new construction, you need to go with your agent on the very first visit. Builders required this, and it's even posted boldly in front of the sales office before you walk in. They are very serious about this. So if you want representation, don't go without your agent on the first visit because they will have you register without an agent, and it is very hard to bring one in after that. Some reasons you may want a real estate agent in a new build transaction. First of all, you wouldn't buy a house directly from the seller in most cases and assume that they have your best interest in mind. Same goes with new construction. If you're buying directly from the builder, it's in essence buying directly from the seller. And whose best interest do you think they have in mind? A real estate agent can help you negotiate the price, the terms of the contract, review the contract with you, which is very lengthy, by the way. They can help manage deadlines and updates throughout the build process, recommend a third-party inspector, and help you at the closing process. Now, speaking of inspections, don't skip a third-party inspection. Just because it's a new house doesn't mean it doesn't need an inspection. Now, of course, the builder is going to do their own inspection and they have to get approval from the city for the build, and all of those things will take place, but a third-party inspector is a really good idea. It does cost you some additional money, maybe about $500 or so, depending on the size of the house, but it is money well spent. This third party has your best interests in mind and also has fresh eyes on the property. They're going to inspect everything head to toe. They can even do a pre-drywall inspection to look at everything going on behind the drywall before drywall goes up and make sure that the house is structured appropriately. Oftentimes, builders innocently miss things. For example, no weep holes in the windows, so when it rains, the windowsill fills up and pours water down onto your carpet. The water heater isn't fully connected. There's no insulation in the attic. Those are all examples of things that my clients have found during their third-party inspection. So don't skip that part of the process. Even though it may cost a little bit more money, it is definitely worth it. Next, don't spend all your money on upgrades. These upgrades add up faster than you might think. And most of the time, they're a pretty premium price. Believe it or not, some people buy these homes with no upgrades at all, completely builder grade, and then plan on doing a full home renovation after they move in. Now, that's not right for everyone, but if you're looking for something specific, that is a better way to get what you want and keep the price a little bit lower. Once you're under contract on a new construction home, you'll go somewhere called the design center where you get to pick out all of the finishes that you'd like in your home. I've seen clients pick a ton of things that have racked up a pretty big bill and they've decided to pare it back, but keep in mind that the builder is going to require an additional deposit on these upgrades if they're over a certain amount. It can become a pretty significant part of the price of the house. Just like with anything, there's a premium associated with picking particular finishes, and honestly, it's not always worth the price. You don't need to run your backsplash all the way up to the ceiling or pay an extra $5,000 for a farmhouse sink. These things can be a little bit more affordable if you're doing them aftermarket. By the way, if you're looking for new construction right now, check the description below for an updated list of new construction options throughout the Phoenix area. Next, don't expect to have a solid move-in date. Well, at least not until about a month out. Builders will give an ETA on closing and finishing the build, but they won't give you an exact date until you're within 30 days of that date. And even then, I've seen that move. This can be really tricky if you're trying to time your move for the end of your lease. I would definitely plan on having some overlap between when you leave your current living situation and moving into your new home. I've seen closings pushed back because the builder hasn't been able to finish some aspect of the build, or they're waiting on materials that are delayed, or the third-party inspection goes poorly and there's a lot that needs to be fixed before we can close. So don't plan on a solid closing date. Even if they give you that date, make sure you have some cushion in between so you're not stuck in between houses with nowhere to live. Now, this one, I don't think everyone thinks about this. Don't think you're moving into a quiet neighborhood, or at least not right away. Remember, there will be construction going on for a while. Depending on what phase you're buying into, there could be construction going on for the next few months or even the next few years. ears. Hammers and drills and contractors' music blaring, nails in the street or on the sidewalk. It's just the nature of a construction site. New builds are amazing in a lot of ways, but this is definitely a downside, albeit temporary. There's nothing worse than being excited to move into your brand new home and get settled, and then only to hear a ton of construction noise every single day. Now, it might be totally worth it to you, but I'm just here to set the right expectation. What's your most unexpected don't from the list that I've shared with you today? Put it in the comments, and don't forget to check out this video about the top 5 real estate myths.